And when even was come, the ship was in the midst of the sea. Pause. Stop. Change the key to A flats. And he alone on the land. So the ship was in the sea, and he was on the land. They were in the sea, but it felt like he had left them because he was still on the land. I thought you were going with me, Jesus. But you got me in this boat again. And he saw them toiling and rowing. He saw them working hard. He saw them straining. That'll preach all by itself. He saw me working hard with my hands, rowing. He saw me. You ought to tap yourself and say, he sees me. He sees me. He sees me. He sees me. Add the strings to that. They were working hard because, watch this next one, for the wind was contrary unto them. In other words, he saw what was opposing me. Anybody feel like there's been some opposition? Just wait. I want to see if I got the right word for the right people. Just feel like I'm rowing hard. I'm toiling. And you know what I'm going up against. And about the fourth watch, somebody say the fourth watch. Now you sent me in the first watch. You watched me in the second watch. You watched me in the third watch. And now in the fourth watch. I'm going to try this again. You saw me going through between 6 and 9. You knew I was in the midst of something that I felt like you weren't with me because I couldn't feel you in the boat. That's the first watch. The second watch is 9 to 12. If I'm going through in 6 to 9, by the time I get to 9 to 12, I'm still not sleeping because I'm still trying to figure out why I'm working so hard and I feel like I have nothing to show for it. Is there anybody in the room ever felt like I'm working hard but I have nothing to show for all my effort? And about the fourth watch of the night, he shows up. But wait for it. He comes to them, but you're walking and it appears like you're going to walk by me. What happens when you see and feel like Jesus is on your scene like a service like this, but you sense that he's getting ready to just pass you by? I wish I had some old Baptist people in here say, Savior, Savior, hear my humble cry. While on others, thou art calling, please. The organist is off duty right now. Please don't pass me by. And would have passed by them, but when they saw him walking upon the sea, they supposed it had been a spirit or a ghost or a phantom is what the word is translated in the Greek. And they cried out. So for my scholars, it's not the storm that scared them, it's what they saw in the storm. What happens when the storm has got my vision a little blurred and I can't see that my help is already here? What happens when I prayed for help and I'm working hard and now help shows up, but it just don't look like what I thought it was going to look like because the wind has got my glasses clogged up? For they all saw him and were troubled. And immediately he talked with them. And immediately he talked with them. You got me shook up. And now you're going to start talking. And I'm trying to hear you above the waves. Is there anybody ever try to hear Jesus above all the noise in your life? And then he has the nerve to say, cheer up. It is I. Be not afraid. Deontay, I gotta do good work on that verse right there. But if you stay with me, we're gonna be tango and cash. And he went up unto them into the sea, into the ship. One version says, and they allowed him in. And they were so amazed in themselves beyond measure and wondered, for they considered, watch this, they were amazed because they did not consider. I'm going to say this again. They were amazed and so afraid because they did not consider. I got to say this again because y'all Americans, so y'all don't get none of this. They were amazed above measure. In other words, they're stumbling over their words. They're fumbling. They're discombobulated. They're befuddled. They freaked out because they did not consider. Let's take a survey. How many in the room have seen God do anything that goes beyond you in the room? Wave your hands. In other words, I couldn't have done this myself. It had to be God. Y'all quiet. How many have seen God take little where I didn't know how I was going to make it, but some way, somehow, it stretched to my neck? Okay, let me make it a little bit more practical. I got $5 in my account and need 3 of those to put in the gas tank to try to get 2 gallons of gas. Y'all quiet in here. And I still don't know how I'm going to eat. But that's Monday, and I don't get paid to Friday. But now it's Sunday, and God's met all my expenses. I wish I had. How many have ever seen God? How many have ever had God, all my people that graduated from school, ever been in school? I knew I didn't study on time. And I barely, y'all quiet in here, and I barely understand this. So I don't know how I passed your class, but I'm glad before you change your mind, let me go ahead and take it. Can I get anybody to see it? My heart was broke because that last knucklehead messed me up. But now I can look at them and smile like ain't nothing wrong because God did something on the inside of me. They were amazed because they did not consider the past miracle. Can I help somebody in here? Maybe you need to go back to the last time God did something amazing for you, so that when he shows up this time, it'll be like, God, you showed up again. For their heart was hardened. I don't have a lot of time because y'all have shouted and danced for the past 20 minutes. But we had a good time. Just look at your neighbor and say, I've had a good time so far. My thought and topic today is how to get away with murder. How to get away with murder. How to get away with murder. I'm trying to see all my ABC watchers in the room. All my Shonda Rhimes fans. How to get away with murder. Lord, help us in this word. We need you wholeheartedly. Thank you for being in the midst. Thank you for being in the room. We can never take your presence for granted. There's a glory in this place that we are grateful for because you live here and you decide to come into the living room or the sanctuary. So since you're here, we acknowledge your presence. We thank you because we could be in a place where Ichabod is written on the room, where the glory has departed. But because you decided to dwell amongst men, because in spite of all of our stuff, you still show up amongst us and remind us that you love us. Thank you. In spite of all of our insecurities and idiosyncrasies and our struggles and our mess, you still show up and still say that you're God and remind us that you got us in your hands. And we just want to tell you thank you. So as we're in your presence, we ask you to speak clearly to us. We need a life-changing word. Don't cause us to leave out of here the same way we walked in, but cause your word to be what it's always been. It's not ephemeral, it's not temporary, but it's eternal. So it causes it to be a word that sticks to our ribs and causes us to make it through the rest of the week where we're reminded of who you are. And we're grateful to you, and we'll give you the praise, honor, and glory in Jesus' name. Somebody clap your hands and give God a praise right there. No, clap your hands like you love the Lord. No, I say clap your hands for Jesus. I don't want to push you, but yeah. To all our first-time guests, we welcome you to the movement. We stopped apologizing for who we were about 4 years ago, so what it is what it is. You know how you date somebody and they try to put on a front, and then next thing you know, you find out who they really are. We just is who we is. We just love God, and we're real expressive, and we don't mind sweating, rolling, and screaming, so People all right, they start rolling around and screaming. They okay. Jesus just working on them. They all right. Just stay a neighbor. They okay. They all right. They all right. They all right. All things work together for the good. I said all things work together for the good. All things work together for the good. All things work together for your... Can I stay right there like I was preaching at another church? All things work together for your... I said all things work together. All things work. It don't feel good, but it's working together. It don't look good, but it's working together. It don't even seem like it's going to work out, but it's working. It's working. Matter of fact, it's punched the time clock and ain't getting ready to punch out. All things are working together. It does not make sense to me, but it's going to work together. I don't understand why my yesterday felt so jacked up, but it's going to work together for my tomorrow. All things work together. If I gave you examples so you wouldn't think I'm just selling you hype. Joseph, y'all know his story. And his father has died, and his brothers think he's going to cause retaliation. And he looks at them and says, it's all good because what you meant for evil, all things work together. Because if you had never sold me out for chicken change, I would never be in the vizier seat right now. So thank you for all. Sometimes you ought to tell the folk that mistreated, thank you because you pushed me to another place. Sometimes you ought to tell some calamity, thank you, because if you had never pushed me, I would have never prayed so hard. If I gave you another example, Hananiah, who had Peniah, who were arch nemesis, if she had never antagonized her, so she would have never prayed, never got sandwiched. Sometimes you ought to thank God for the bad stuff that's happened so you can appreciate the good. David could look at his brothers who, he was the last in line. Chosen after Eric. He was like the last, Is there anyone else? Thank y'all for going before me. Thank y'all for, that way it'd be no question of who I am. Abraham. Here's a good thing about Abraham. I heard this week. It blessed my soul, so I'm going to bless you with it. Abraham, I know it seems like it's taking so long, but you think I'm going to give you a son. I'm trying to give you a nation. Whew. Some of y'all been working, some of us been minimizing what God wants to do because we've been looking for a son. But God says, no, I'm trying to give you a... So if it takes a little while, because it takes a little while to birth a nation, you can birth a baby in 9 months, but some of y'all got so much greatness on the inside, it's just taking a little while longer. So if it takes, whatever it takes, just God, get it out of me. However long it takes, I'm going to be patient. Whatever you want to do, all things work together. If I had Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah in the room, I'm sorry, Shadrach, Meshach, and it's not a Bendigo, it's a bed nego. Just a little Bible, just so y'all go around talking crazy. If we were to ask them, and they would say, oh, how do all things work together? Well, God used your situation to cause a heathen to see Jesus. Some of y'all feel like you're in a trial all by yourself. No, sometimes God's using your situation to cause somebody else to see Jesus in your situation. They said, peek your head in. I thought you put 3 in it, but I see 4, and 1 looks like the son of... So even before he came, So sometimes God has a way of showing up in your situation to show somebody else, I'm still in this. You want to throw your hands up and say, God, thank you for being in this right here. All things, all things, all things. Watch your voice, Reverend. All things work together. All things work together. Judas, thank you. I hung out with you for 3 years, but if you had never sold me out, I would have never accomplished my goal. Thank all things work together. What you meant for evil, God, can I say that? What they meant for evil, God, what they thought was going to be this way, God already had a plan worked out. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, thoughts of good and not of evil. Why? Because you may think it's bad, but I've got a good on the other end. Is there anybody glad that he's got the plan already worked out? All things, all things. Peter, come to the stage. What you want, Reverend? Peter, just come to the stage. You denied him, but he also said, I was working through your denial. What do you mean? If any man should come after me, let him first deny himself. So I'm going to use your denial of me to train you on how to deny something that means something to you. So I'm going to teach you how to deny yourself. Thank you for making all my stuff work together for my good. Paul, thank you, Peter. Paul, come to the stage real fast. Paul says, I saw some stuff I can't even tell y'all about. I was given revelation I can't even articulate in this reality. But then to keep me humble, he gave me a thorn. In other words, I don't like how it feels, but it keeps me from getting too prideful in my life. And some of us, God has shown us so much. He says, if I don't give you something to kind of bring you back down, you'll exalt yourself too much and not be no earthly good. So the thorn is working for your good. All things, all things, all things, all things. I was rejected, but all things. I was neglected, but all things. I've been abused, but all things. I've been left out there, but all things. I've been misunderstood, but all things. I felt like a misfit most of my life, but all things. I felt like I was so peculiar and so different and so eclectic and such a misfit and such just one of those people that the black sheep of the family, but all things. What happens when God takes the black sheep and calls him to be the sheep, the lamb, the sacrificial lamb for the whole family? All things work together. When they didn't think you were going to be nothing, but now you the one helping everybody else. All things work together for the good. All things work together for the good. All things. Just tap yourself and say, all things. All things. All things. Matter of fact, even this thing right now, all things. Even this thing you're in right now, all things. Even what you're seeing right now, all things work together. In other words, this is working out for my favor. We find ourselves in the pericope in the text. Mark chapter 6. I'm not going to fool with the context right now. Just come on Wednesday. I'll make it more plain. But if we go back to verse 45, Reverend, let's work together. Come on, Tonto, we got to take a drive. And straightway he constrained. He made them get back into the boat. And some of y'all, let me just make this plain for you. He made you get back in the situation again. What happens when God puts you right back in what you thought you came out of? Oh, it's quiet in here. I thought I was over my self-esteem issues, but he seems like he puts me right back in the boat. I thought I was over my insecurities, and all of a sudden now I'm back in a situation where I feel like I'm right back in the boat. He made them get constrained. In other words, he ordered them. He pulled rank, constrained them. Now, in other words, I would have to give you why he constrained them. He constrained them, stay with me, because he just fed the 5,000. He used them to feed the 5,000. But now, because the 5,000 wants to make him king, and he's not ready for that yet because he has not been to the cross, because no cross, no crown. And I don't want them to think that I'm just going to be a king because I fed you, because the Romans have put this in the culture where if you give them bread and a circus, they'll be fine. What is bread and a circus? If you feed them and entertain them, they would think like everything's okay. I want to help this generation and this society. Be careful when you're fed and full and entertained and think everything is well. No, 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 no. You're still in bondage. I wish I had somebody in here. And so he comes to establish a new kingdom, but they're thinking that he's going to come a certain way. So they're expecting, oh, be our king because you're feeding us. You're giving us fish and loaves. That's why when they came back and followed him on the other side of the lake, he says, y'all don't really want what I really have. You just want the fish and chips. And because it says in another version in John chapter 6, it says, and they were going to make him king. In other words, they were going to force him to be king. And that wasn't his plan at the time, because I don't want you caught up in what I do for you. I want you to caught up in who I am. And God help us not to be the kind of followers or disciples that are just all about what he can do for us versus appreciating and having faith in who he is. Because if you only go by what he does for you, if he stops doing that, you will stop believing in him. Y'all quiet in here. In other words, when he stops providing, you'll go find your own provision. If he stops sustaining you, you'll be your own sustainer. If he stops leading you, you become your own God. He says, I don't want you ever get it twisted. And he constrains his real disciples to get into the boat. Y'all get in the boat. I will dismiss or give adieu. See you later. After a while, crocodile. I'll dismiss the crowd. I'm going to dismiss y'all. So he dismisses the disciples and then dismisses the crowd. He dismisses the disciples and then dismisses the crowd. He dismisses them before they get too caught up in what he's doing through them. Oh, God. And dismisses them to get into the boat. Here's the problem. We all came here in the same boat. So if you dismissing us to get in the boat and go, what you gonna do? I got this worked out. You just go ahead. What happens when it feels like Jesus has sent you on a mission, but it feels like he ain't with you? Have you ever felt like, God, you got me out in these streets looking crazy by myself? Anybody besides me? Like I thought this was gonna be a certain way. He dismisses the disciples and then dismisses the crowd. After he dismisses the crowd, it says he departs to go to a mountain to pray. Charmise, that's good. He departs. It's good if you knew what was in my head, but I can't give y'all all of this stuff at one time because I got to work this sermon like I got to lay out the meal. I can't give you the dessert before I give you the main entree. He departs. Now watch this. If he was so concerned about them, how come he didn't take them to the mountain to pray? I got your intrigue. Now look at your forehead. Stay with me. If you were so concerned about me, how come you didn't take me up there? Because we've been up there praying before. That's when you told me, Our Father, which art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Teach us how to pray. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Right now, my Father, of Abraham, Isaac, y'all so Baptist. But he does not take them to the mountain to pray. Next verse, Reverend. How to get away with murder. Now, he sends them into the lake. It says the sea, but it's nothing but a big lake. Lake Norman. Lake Wiley. Lake James. I'm trying to think of another lake, but I'm running out of geographic places. Y'all get it. Anyway, everybody say the Catawba River. Don't he sends them. Now, when even was come, I told you this, how many watches during the night? Come on, church, how many watches are in the night? 4. There's 6 to 9 p.m. There's 9 to 12 p.m. There's 12 to 3 p.m. And then there's 3 to 6 p.m. a.m. I think I messed that up. 12 to 3 a.m., 3 to 6 a.m. Y'all judgmental, but y'all get what I'm saying. Just nod your head like you understand. And when he was come, when the even was come, or evening was come, the ship was where? In the midst of the sea. But he was alone where? On the land. So they're in the midst of the lake. It's about a 4-mile journey from one side to the other. 4 to 6 miles, so it should only take about a couple of hours. This is a 2-hour trip. This is a 2-hour trip. This is a 2-hour trip. In other words, it shouldn't be that long. We're just going from here to Columbia. We'll be there in a minute. We might even make it to Augusta. It shouldn't take that long. But go to the next verse. But he saw them toiling and rowing, for the wind was what? Contrary. In other words, it was opposing them. It was against them. Come, Victor. Come, Deontay. I know it's your birthday, but happy birthday again. Now, stand right there. You're going to be, y'all just, we didn't rehearse this. You know, it's good. All right, now, come here, William. I'm not going to mess with Jarek. You know, I'm so glad to see him today. Come here, Jerry. Come on. Hurry up, man. We got time, man. Come on now. Now, they're going to represent 12 disciples. 2 times 6 is. Let's row together. 1, 2, 3. Roll. 1, 2. Y'all not rowing. Roll. 1, 2, 3. 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 Roll. And it seems like we're working hard, but ain't going nowhere. Have you ever felt like I'm working hard, but I feel like I just ain't going nowhere? Because there's something contrary to me. The wind is contrary to me. Wind, breath, pneuma, spirit. What happens when you have a cacophony or a dissonance? Because, Jesus, you put me in the boat and told me to go. But now it feels like you're against me because I ain't going nowhere. I'm not making any progress. Y'all so saved. Have you ever had a problem with God because God, you told me to do this, but it didn't work out like I thought it was going to work out? Y'all so sadiddy. Let me talk to this side. Have you ever felt like I thought you were going to do this because you the one told me to do this and I wouldn't do this by myself? Thank you, Reverend. Have you ever, like, I'm out here walking by faith, but my faith won't look so don't look like it's anybody been walking by faith and it seems like it ain't work? Like, matter of fact, ever have a word over your life, you dance over, and then the exact opposite happens when you leave out the door? Y'all quiet. I wish I had a real church in here, like I was preaching something. Like, what happens when it feels like it's contrary and it's unfair? And then watch this. We're in the fourth watch. That means 1, 2, 3, roll, 1, 2, 3, roll, 1, 2, 3, roll, 1, 2, roll, 1, 2, roll, 1. Change it. We change the meter. 1, 2, roll. Come on, roll harder. Roll, 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 roll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is not a dream. Roll, roll harder. Come on, Andrew. Philip, will you stop giving up, man? We got to, come on. And we're rowing hard. And watch this. How long was this trip supposed to take? So why is it taking 6? I was supposed to be out of this season. I was supposed to be done with this. I was supposed to be on the other side. I knew I was out. I danced about it last week. Why is it still around me? And why am I working harder now than I was back then? Y'all quiet in here. It's the fourth watch. And they're going to find out you've been watching me the whole time. And now all of a sudden we are working hard. Come on. Look like you're sweating. Listen, you're going to get your workout today, brother. You ain't working hard enough. Man, come on, man. We got to get. My hands are tired, and my arms are tired. And now I'm looking who I can blame. If you were roll harder, we could get through this. And meanwhile, guess what? The storm ain't done nothing except just stand there. Roll harder. And now all of a sudden, it's pitch black. Ain't no street lights because we're in the midst of the sea. We're 2 miles in. Now, you know, if y'all have ever been on a cruise, there's a certain part where you don't see no moon, no nothing. Like, it's not even country black. It's just dark. It's a thick dark. Dark. Don't do that. So, your parents say you got to act right. Come on, roll hard. I'm going to take a break. Y'all keep rolling. Man. We've already used these same hands to feed 5,000 people. And now I got to take these same hands and row, and what should be a 2-hour trip has now become a 6-hour trip. Is anybody seeing the picture? I worked hard for the people of God. Now I come home and I got to work even harder, and it feel like I ain't got no progress. I've been working in ministry. I did everything that Jesus asked me to do. Matter of fact, even when I want to do it, because they were asking for tartar sauce, and we ain't got none. We ain't got no hot sauce, ain't got no ketchup. We ain't got no, all we got is this bread and this fish, and you complain about it. Listen here, you better be glad he gave it to you. Purred. And now he got me in this boat by myself with them who I'm barely like, because don't think the disciples all got along. Because they were all a bunch of heathens. Y'all so judgmental. Look at the boat right now. And we're moving. Just keep rolling. And you've been watching me. Now it's the fourth watch. And now all of a sudden, come on, you can be Jesus. Jesus didn't wear ripped jeans. He had but it's okay. Come from back there, though. If we're rowing and the wind is blowing, guess what it's doing to the water? It's moving the water. So after a while, we're trying. Have you ever had a car that's kind of like got bad tires and you're trying to hold it? Or you ever had, how many of you ever had bad power steering? Or no power steering, and you got to work. Y'all been had them, right, y'all had them blessed cars. For the rest of us, where we had some of them old cars, and you got, 'tis the old ship of Zion. Right, and you trying to turn, and then matter of fact, you got to grab it from underneath and pull it like, anybody besides me have one? Yeah. Listen, work. Got good guns. And now, come on, Jesus. And now we're rowing hard. Uh-huh. And now what? It says it looked like we're rowing hard. Like what's going on? And the water's getting all in. We all soaking wet. And then and it says they start screaming. Now you stopped. It looked like he was passing by. But guess what stopped him? The scream and the holler. No matter how tired you are, you better keep a holler in your mouth. Y'all quiet in here. I said no matter how tired you are, you need to keep a praise in your mouth that'll stop Jesus. Listen, I don't understand what you is right now, but I need you not to pass me by. I've been in this season too long. That's why sometimes we just got to give God praise just because I don't know what he want to do. Matter of fact, shout right now. Shout right now. Shout right now. Shout right now. Get his attention. They supposed it was a spirit. And they cried out. Matter of fact, holler one more time. This Shabbat, one more time. Go ahead, go ahead. Woo! You got to give me a little bit more next time. Here we go. Go to the next verse. Don't let me fall, because I'm going to lean on you. For they all saw him and were troubled, and immediately, watch this. It looked like he was going to pass them, and now you start talking. Cheers, mate. It is I. Be not afraid. Stop. In other words, calm down. Can you help me talk to your neighbor and tell him, calm down? Tell him again. Give him that shady look. Calm down. No, give him that real shady. Calm down. Because I'm going to be prophetic. Some of y'all been fussing and complaining and whining all week long. Calm down. No, tell him again. Tell him. I'm going to be a little shady than Jesus would be, because Jesus is a little nicer than calm. Have you ever had somebody acting hysterical over small? Calm down. It's just a bug. Open the window. It'll go right out. Just calm. Oh, Jesus, it's a spider. It's a daddy long leg. I don't know what it is. Step on it. Just calm down. Help them. Do it again. Calm. Just calm. You got to preach to them because they don't listen to the reverend. Just calm down. Oh my God! We're going to die. It's a spider. Just calm down. It's a bug. We're going to die. Calm down. Calm down. Stay with me. He said it's the Bugs car now. Okay. On the latest news, casualty on the Highway 77. I'm going to tell you a little funny story. I think I told y'all this before. Did I tell y'all about banana boat? My wife, I don't like you right now. Stay with me. Jesus, don't leave me. I just got hot. We were on a cruise to Cancun. And, you dock. And you go on excursions. And so it was a bunch of couples. Wife, I can't stand you. Matter of fact, you're dismissed. I'm talking about me. I only got 3 minutes. And we're in the middle of the ocean, and I watch National Geographic, so I think sharks are everywhere, and I think as soon as you go in the water, you're just going to be eaten up. I'm one of them. Anybody besides me, don't go in the ocean because they're just going to grab you, and next thing, you're going under, And we were on a banana boat, and everybody's good. Boom, 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 boom. Oh! And somehow, somebody said, oh, let's be fun. And they did one of these numbers, and guess what happened to the banana boat? The banana boat topsided. Now, I like you, friend. You don't seem judgmental. The rest of these heathens are. I'm the type of person, I can swim as long as my feet can touch the bottom. I will paddle, backstroke, floop it, floop it, floop it. But when I'm tired, I just want my feet to do what? Soon as my feet touch Zion. Right, that's me. Right, that's me. Well, this the ocean, and we are in the midst of the sea. The banana boat topped over, and I am freaking out. Life jacket and all. it's on tight too, child. Oh, that'll preach. I got what's going to save me on me. But I'm not acting like I'm saved. Oops. And so I'm flipping out. Now, luckily on the banana boat, there was a Marine, an ex-Marine, retired Marine. But right now, all I know is I was under and I saw the banana boat come on top of me. And I was thinking Jaws is going to eat me and I'll never be able to, I'll never fulfill my assignment. I'll never be God, all God is called. And in these last and evil days, and I'm going to die early. And I ain't even had my second child, and I ain't even moved to Charlotte. You know, it's foolishness. And I'm free, right, all these players I ain't got yet. I am flipping out. I got what's going to save me. I already got my salvation on me. But I'm fighting my salvation because I'm panicking. And I can't think that I'm saved because I'm flipping out about what I'm in. I can't think about the fact that if I just be still, it'll bring me back to the top. Because I'm so in it, I can't realize that what I'm in, I was already prepared for. I wish, and I'm flipping out. But luckily, the Marine grabs me. And all I can think is, thank you, Jesus. But I'm still flipping out. So not only do I have salvation on me, I got someone who's trained with me. Oh. Not only do I have salvation on me, I got somebody who can get me out of it with me. Y'all quiet. I said, not only do I have what can preserve me on me, I got somebody with me. And all he needs me to do is calm down. And I heard him say, that's why faith comes by hearing. I can't save you if you don't calm down, because you're going to bring us both under. Oh, that's good to me. And what happens when I finally calm down and relax and realize I'm double covered. Some of y'all ought to lift your hands and say, God, thank you for double covering me. Like, oh, I got insurance plus. And guess what he does? He puts me back to where I can get back on the banana boat. I was in it and flipping out, but I couldn't come out of it until I calmed down. That's why I wanted you to preach. I was transparent. I told you my story. I did flip out. And that's why my wife is judgmental, but we'll have a conversation after church. I'm trying to get you to calm your neighbor down because you're flipping out about what you're in. But you got salvation already on you. And who you with is not going to let you stay in what you're in. Thank God that he looks at us and sees, I'm going to pull you out of it. Cheers. It is I. Be not afraid. Next verse. Thank you for walking with me. And he went unto them, and one version says, they welcomed him or allowed him into the ship. And guess what happens? The storm ceased. So as soon as Jesus comes into the boat, the storm ends. Now that don't make sense. How come you didn't stop this a long time ago if all I needed you was in my boat? And see, some of y'all just need to invite Jesus back into the boat. You tripping about how he got there. I don't care how he get there. Thank you, song. Just get here if you can. There are hills and mountains between us. Always something to get over. But I don't care how you get here. They were tripping because they forgot. Now, thank you, disciples. Y'all been so good. Thank you, Jesus. Clap your hands for our actors. Your check is not in the mail. We're still trying to, we ain't had offering yet. My topic today is what? Is what? Wait for the turn. Every time I've read this story, I've said, oh, this is also when Peter walks on water. Peter says, if it's you, do what? Y'all heard it. Bid me to come. Thank you, that's my amen corner back there. Bid me to come. And all he says is, come. And Peter starts walking on water. What book are we in? What book are we in? Guess who Mark gets his account from? But notice in in this version here, there is no Peter walking on water. Maybe Peter didn't want anybody to know about his failure. Because if it was important to him, he would have gave the details to Mark. But he does not give the details to Mark. Maybe he does not feel that good about the situation. Because stuff you don't want nobody to know, you leave out the details. Y'all quiet in here. Some stuff you don't want your neighbor to know half of the stuff you've been in or struggling with. Can I get somebody to say amen? So you leave that out, the details. Oh, there was a storm. He got us out, and then he got in the boat, and it ceased. That's the clean version. If I gave you the rest of the details, you'll be so caught up in the details, you'll miss the fact that he brought me out. I wish I had somebody else in here. So he skips over that. But how to get away with murder, I got to get to this turn. I'm wondering the whole time, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Go Lakers. I'm wondering the whole time, Asia, why would Jesus watch them struggle for so long, then show up on the scene, and then save them? I thought that this was one of the storms that the demons caused. But now, if Shonda Rhimes was here, how many like a good mystery, a good drama, a good thing you got to think in? Wave your hands. And you get tired of people talking the whole time because, trying to, you're thinking. Just maybe, let's look at the clues. Let's look at the clues. I see you. Come on. Let's look at the clues. Who sends who into the midst of this? And who stays behind? Who then watches them and then allows them to get to the fourth watch and then wants to walk upon the scene? There's 3 words that stuck out to me and that shook my world. It is I. We give the devil too much credit for some stuff, and Jesus is saying, cheers. It was me the whole time. I prayed for the storm. Peter says, if it's you, if you the cause of all this, I'm tired of working. Let me walk with you. Maybe it'll be an easier process. Come. And just maybe you've been tripping about something that Jesus allowed you to get in because he wanted to get some stuff out of you. Ooh. I didn't like how you looked at the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. So I got to put you in a simulation to kind of get you to understand I'm still your provider. I didn't like how you missed when I sent you out there to go heal somebody, and the one man said, I brought him to your disciples, and they didn't know what to do with him. So let me keep working on you. The only way I can work on you, I got to allow you to get to it. But if I told you all the details, you would have never got into the boat. If he gave you what he was going to do next, you were like, no, child, I'll just stay right here. Y'all good. I'll meet y'all on the, matter of fact, we'll take a camel on the, call Uber. So he allows us to get into certain boats, certain situations, because it's the only way he can work some stuff out of us. We talked about faith. Some of y'all got faith, but you don't realize how much faith you have. But you really only know it if you ever get put into a situation where you need it. You'll never know what's in you until you get into a storm. And we've been focusing on everything else instead of focusing on Jesus. Nothing in your life happens without his permission or his knowledge. I'm going to talk to Ken for a little while longer. Nothing in your life happens without his permission or his knowledge. Can I say that again? Because y'all act like you are in control of your life. You act like you are the one that got you on that job. You act like you are the one that got you this far. Child, please, you ain't even that smart to deal with you. Matter of fact, let me tell you the truth. You're not even smart enough to keep your heart beating while you sleep. Nothing happens in your life except he knows or he allows. So maybe rest in the fact that you got the life jacket on. And he said, I promise to never leave you nor forsake you. So if I allow you to get into the ship, which is going to go into a storm, maybe just chill out and realize I already know what I'm doing. Thank you, Jesus, for already know what you're doing. And here's how you get away with murder. Make it seem like it's something else until people realize it's been you the whole time. All things work together, but some things you would never even allow it to work because you put your hands in it. All this week, I want you to read in the book of Mark. But every time you read it, I want you to read from this set of lenses. Find me something that, just something soft. Or play. You all gonna play, you just find me a song. This is your homework. I gave it to you last week. I'm not sure many of y'all did it. Read the book of Mark, but read from this set of lenses. Each miracle may not be a miracle. It may be a teaching moment. Each situation may not be a, I'm trying to help you by healing you. Maybe it's, I'm trying to teach you how to see what you don't see. He heals a blind man. But he may not just be healing the blind man. Maybe he's trying to open up the understanding of his disciples who are blind to what he's really doing. I fed the 5,000 with a small meal that seemed insufficient. Maybe I'm not just trying to feed them. Maybe I'm trying to teach you how to let me take you a little bit and make it stretch to where it's more than enough. As you read through all these, just think that maybe, and watch this, what is he trying to teach you? Lord, what are you trying to teach me in this season? What are you teaching me? What are you doing in my life in this season? Can I teach you how when you don't know what's going to happen next, and it makes no sense, and you think it's unfair, and you want to quit, but then you say, no, I'm not going to quit. But even if you tried to quit, what you going to quit to? Just maybe he's trying to teach you something. It's good to see you. I'm glad you came on back. I know you wrestled with it. You fought with it. I know. No. Just maybe. Just maybe. He knew you were going to struggle with what you struggle with. But allowed your struggle to happen so that when you come on the other side, you can show somebody else how to make it through struggle. Every person in this room that ever felt insecure or inadequate or felt like you were insufficient, maybe he allowed that to happen so when so he can keep you humble, because if you ever felt like you always had it, you would never trust him. Oh, that's good to me. Maybe he's allowed you to go through the season where you feel like you're wandering. Like, I don't even know where I am. Somebody asked me, I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's doing that so that you would have to every step trust him, because if you led by your own self, you would mess it up, and you're tired of messing up. You're tired of making bad decisions, tired of making poor judgment decisions, tired of kicking yourself over what you did that you didn't have to do, but you did it anyway because it only makes sense. And sometimes stuff that don't make sense makes sense in the moment. Am I making sense to anybody in the room? And sometimes you do stuff that don't make sense because that's just the only thing I know to do right now. I'm just going to do what I got to do, and I just let the chips fall where they may because I got to do something. Can I get somebody up in the room? And all I'm trying to tell you is maybe it was Jesus the whole time. What happens when you don't like yourself? Oh, can I get somebody real in the room? Ever look in the mirror and don't even want to look in the mirror? You just want to just brush your teeth and be done with it because you don't like what you see? And maybe Jesus knows that you don't like yourself. But in the midst of that, he's trying to show you that I still got beauty on the inside of you. But until you appreciate my workmanship, you will always think you're unbeautiful. You will always think you're ugly. You will always think you're insufficient. You will always think you're not enough. And maybe he's saying, until I can show you that I got something greater on the inside of you. Until you can see the beauty beyond your nose. Until you can see the beauty beyond your hair, your skin color, your weight. Until you can see the real, true treasure on the inside. I wish I had somebody up in here. And sometimes he allows you in enough dirt. Because there is a difference between being planted and buried. Oh, can I work right there? There is a difference between being planted and being buried. The difference is the future. When you bury something, there is no future. But when you plant something, it may be dirty, but if I can grow through the dirt, I can get to the sun. Sometimes you got to realize there's a difference between being in dirt. And sometimes we're complaining because we're in dirt. But you may not be in dirt. You may just be in soil. And soil has composition of what died before. Oh, that's good to me. I said soil has what died before. Some stuff died before, but it only enriched the soil that I'm in right now. Oh, can I get somebody here? If I was just in dirt, there would be no future for me. But is there anybody in the room glad that you got a future in her? So I may be stuck in some stuff right now, but eventually I'm going to grow out of this. Eventually I'm going to bust through out of this. Eventually I'm going to break through out of this.